What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris Infinite, and today I have a pretty spicy video to make for you dudes. There are 3 brand new control points added to the South Coast. I have a feeling this might have been the secret in the update. With these new control points being absolutely excellent locations, I could see why this was kept as a secret surprise for the Dangerous Experiments update. Now, before we start getting into these locations and talking about the details about them, I thought I'd show off their locations on the map first. So, first off, and the most northern location is Hammargarden. I might be saying that wrong, but it's an excellent camping control point with a dilapidated tower at it. It's very cool. And then we've got Bergahojden, and this area is like a construction site for a bunch of houses. And then lastly, we have the Sillavik Artillery base control point. And this is an artillery spot. It's also an equally very cool location. If you enjoy this video on these secret control point locations, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and maybe subscribe to stick around. We're nearing up on 20,000 subscribers, which is pretty crazy to say. So for the first control point for the day, let's talk about the Sillavik Artillery point, our second military control point here in Generation Zero. Even though I'm always going to kind of prefer towards Berga, Sillavik is still an incredibly beautiful building spot for a military base. With plenty of really cool and unique pre-builts in the location, you can build up to these spots and utilize quite a bit of it. Like take for instance the artillery cannons that have this epic view overlooking the brand new Sillavik lighthouse that's been put in place. You can actually build all the way out to the edge of the cliffside, meaning that you can fully incorporate these artillery cannons into your build. And you have a pretty decent build space to work with here as well, with a length of 70 and a width of 115. Sillavik Artillery offers a very sizable building space and a frickin' view to go with it. Now, as a part of this video, I figured I'd include having a bit of a review on the location's potential for base assaults, because with us getting more detailed building locations, it also means that our base assaults are becoming much more interesting. And Sillavik, out of the 3, is the most straightforward base assault. There isn't enough going on in the middle of the building area to really intercept with any of the Phoenix base structures that are put in place. So you don't wind up with too many unique scenarios, but instead you wind up with just this really solid chunk of a base to take on. And if you wind up getting lucky with the generation, just like I did, you might wind up with a solid chunk taken out, so you can easily snipe and stealthily take down the command center for this base. Now next up is a location that I actually found well before this update, but I just looked at it, kind of scratched my head and went, huh, that's weird. Bergahojden! And so this is a very interesting building location where it's like there was this construction site going on, and I guess a couple of houses were going to be built on this hillside before Cataclysm Day happened. This location has a number of interesting spots where you could find scaffolding put around what is clearly planned to be a future building. Sadly, these are inaccessible building areas, and that's something that the whole Bergahojden area suffers from, is inaccessible building areas. But you could still slap up a couple of scaffolding beside them to kind of work your way into the set pieces. In all honesty, though, I really like this idea of a construction site in the works and us taking over a kind of construction zone. So I'm really hoping that this motif of a control point will possibly show up in the future again. Bergahojden offers you a building area of 75 by 80. Definitely nothing impressive. And the problem is that most of that area is actually taken up by set pieces. I'd say probably about maybe 2/3 of your building area is taken up by set pieces. But on the other hand, the funny thing is this means this location is awesome for base assaults. With so many pre-builts in the location, Phoenix bases wind up being broken apart in a lot of ways that make for quick and easy base takedowns. I feel like with so much of the build space being taken up that this spot is pretty much just designed for farming control points from. You could come in, take out all of the shield generators and the base itself really quickly, so that might be one of the best uses for this control point. And for the last secret control point added in this update, Hammargarden, the Garden of Hammers. I think this is my favorite control point added in this update. You have this old tower overlooking a campsite with a small dock and a little floating island out there. Hammargarden offers so much conceptual direction from the old dilapidated tower to the road that intersects the whole building area. It's a really strongly designed control point, and those are some of my favorite. Even though you can't build all the way out to the water, the views you get from the dock out there are a supreme vibe. And with the campers put around the building area that you can add to with your own healing stations to build a little miniature trailer park out here, it's genius, man. And Hammargarden winds up offering the biggest building area in the entire bunch, 76 by 115, which might also wind up being up there as one of the biggest building locations in the game. But I'm torn about Hammargarden because it's also one of the sickest base assault locations. This is one of the few base assault locations that I would say is 100% stealthable. I don't know if stealthable is actually a word, but it really is. With the tower overlooking the whole area, you get a perfect vantage point to stealth your way towards, to then utilize also with the final takedown of the command center. And the road that runs down the middle winds up creating these really unique structures out of the Phoenix base, cutting through and giving easy access to a lot of shield generators. And if you take a couple seconds to go incognito, you can then go off and finish off the entire command center phase completely stealthed from on top of this tower. Also, I just gotta say it again, the Scorpion is a monster. It's actually really handy for taking down command centers. Just a couple more shots out of the Mosin here, and we should have this command center done. So Hammargarden really takes the cake for being both the best base assault location and one of the best base building locations that were added from the 3 brand new control points in the Dangerous Experiments update. So let me know, have you explored these boyos already? Any favorites from the bunch if you have? If you haven't, you should totally head out to the South Coast and maybe build yourself a new base over the holidays at one of these unique control points. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.